Hello and welcome to Armchair Opinion. I'm your host Chris, and am I wearing a Chewbacca onesie? Well, I think the real question is, why aren't you wearing a Chewbacca onesie? Because this is the most comfortable thing I have ever worn, and if it was up to me, I'd wear this all the time. In fact, during quarantine, I did wear this all the time. Probably should have washed it, really, thinking about it. But I'm scared to wash it because I'm worried that it will no longer be fluffy and soft, and it is the softest, most fluffy thing I have ever had the privilege to wear. It's like constantly being hugged by Chewbacca himself, and I think we should all just be allowed to wear our onesies all the time. Now, is it fashionable? No. Does it look like I've always had a poo? Yeah, because the way that it flaps down my bum, it always looks like I poo myself, but I haven't. So it's just so comfortable and warm, and I'm going to wear it forever now. Peninsula is the sequel to Train to Busan. Train to Busan was the 6th highest grossing movie of all time, I think, in Korea. Did very good, and it was one of my favourite movies of 2016, and I think it's one of my favourite zombie movies in general. Cool movie. Written and directed by Sang Ho-yoon, I want to say. Yeah, Sang Ho-yoon. Apologies for the butchering of the pronunciation of that name. He has written and directed this movie as well, so I was very excited for it because I loved the first movie. Peninsula is set 4 years after the events of Train to Busan. The Korean peninsula is devastated by the zombie apocalypse. A former soldier who managed to escape to Hong Kong is recruited by a criminal to go back to the peninsula and retrieve a truck full of missing cash. What about the rest of the world? The rest of the world's fine. The rest of the world is tickety-boo. We're treated to an exposition dump by a cheesy talk show at the beginning of the movie that tells us the contagion was limited only to Korea and everywhere else is fine. So that's good, but there are no survivors left. Aha! When the soldier gets to the island, he does find survivors. And these survivors have no idea that the rest of the world is fine. They think it's the apocalypse. That's why they haven't heard from anybody. Now, we do have to suspend our disbelief with that entire premise right there. How can nobody know that there are survivors in the country of Korea? It's zombies, right? It's not radiation. It's not like they can't fly planes overhead and look. Now, these survivors aren't just huddling in a sewer somewhere, scared to come out. They're driving around cars. They're launching fireworks. They're having light shows because the zombies get distracted by lights and sounds. How is nobody looking at Korea and going, well, either the zombies are having a sick party or there are survivors out there? I don't understand how that's even possible. Anyway, we'll suspend our disbelief there. Now, when the soldier gets to the island, it goes wrong and the truck ends up being taken by a group of survivors who have gone full on Mad Max apocalypse, baby. I mean, they're loving it. They've donned their leather jackets, they've got their bandanas on, they left their toothbrushes at home. They don't brush their teeth anymore. Their teeth are terrible. How can you have such bad teeth after only 4 years? They've got like pirate teeth. I don't know if that's even possible. You'd think in the apocalypse taking care of your teeth is a really important thing because, well, there's no dentists around, so you don't want tooth decay. But nope, they don't have to brush their teeth anymore. It's the apocalypse, baby. You know what? These guys are actually pretty happy as well. They've got a real cheery disposition. Every now and again, they'll go out and they'll find another survivor who they call a wild dog, and they'll take him in and they will dump him in the arena to fight against some zombies. And they love watching that stuff. It's what they live for. They eat their cans of tuna and they watch other survivors getting mauled by zombies. Happy days. Don't have to brush their teeth. They're loving it. Except for one guy, the leader of the complex. He's not loving it at all. In fact, he's pretty suicidal. And when he finds the truck full of cash, which he thinks is useless because the rest of the world is screwed, right? Money's pointless now. But he also finds a sat phone. He contacts the criminals and they say, if you take the truck to the ports with the money in, we'll give you half the money and you can go to Hong Kong and live zombie-free and rich. Great, so he's going to try to do that, and the soldier and his little motley group of survivors have to go into the complex and steal back the truck. Therein lies the premise of the movie. Now, the action in Train to Busan was quite intimate, quite close up. It was melee, no guns, basically. It was, you had to tape magazines to your arm and basically punch your way through the zombies. In this movie, everybody's got guns, lots of guns and lots of ammunition. Where did all that ammunition come from? I have no idea, because the man doesn't bring in like a duffel bag full of magazines for his gun, so unless he's wearing some kind of secret utility jacket underneath his cool leather jacket, then I don't know how he's getting so much ammo, because he can just fire off round after round for days, bruh. And these zombies, well, they're fast and they're quick, right? They're not your Walking Dead zombies, right? Where Walking Dead, if there's a zombie behind you, as long as you get your power walk on, you're pretty safe. You can power walk your way out of any situation in The Walking Dead, right? In this one, no, they're fast, they're angry, they're hungry, and they come at you in waves. They even use parkour, these zombies. I don't understand how or why they decided to have some of the zombies like flipping around and doing some kind of gymnastics and springing around like kangaroos and stuff like that, but they do. But it doesn't really mean anything when you can just easily mow them all down with the infinite ammo. So there's not an awful lot of tension to these gunfights, and there's a lot of gunfights. And we learn early on that the real threat isn't so much the zombies so much as other humans. Oh, classic zombie movie stuff. It's not really the zombies, it's the other survivors we've got to watch out for, and we're treated to Mad Max-esque car chases throughout the devastated peninsula. And these car chases, well, they are entirely out of Mad Max. That's what they've gone for. So take the movie Mad Max, take a car chase. Now make the whole thing CGI. Don't just use CGI on top of the practical effects to, take out the wire work and stuff like that. No, let's make everything CGI. So the cars in this movie are CGI, and not great CGI either. The physics is all off. The cars move at a strange speed. The action is completely over the top and unrealistic. There is zero tension. You can mow through zombies without damaging your car, it seems. Sometimes the zombies are attracted to light, sometimes to sound, and they pick and choose between those kind of things dependent on whatever the plot needs at that particular time. So the zombie mechanics, the rules, are really kind of all over the place. And the other reason there's no tension with any of the action is because of the characters. Now, the main character, the soldier, he's haunted. He's haunted from an event that happened at the beginning of the movie. And he's so haunted by it that he has become the world's most boring man. He is the most boring person pretty much in the entire movie. The other characters are incredibly superficial, so when one of them inevitably gets shot or bitten or whatever, I don't care. I really don't care, but the movie wants you to care. Boy, does the movie want you to care. They're going to spend 5 minutes pausing the action to give you an over-the-top, incredibly cheesy death scene. We're talking slow motion hugs. We're talking tears streaming down the face and lingering on that emotion for far too long. And the music builds and builds and keeps building, and they're desperately trying to tug at your heartstrings to make you feel something for these characters. Oh my god, he's dying! You think, I don't care about this person at all. In fact, the longer you linger on this mournful moment, the more I want the zombies to come and eat all of you. But even if they did, even if the zombies came and ate everyone, would it be satisfying? No. Why this movie is rated R 13. So the violence here is pitiful. Now it's a zombie movie, so the fear of getting attacked by a zombie is getting eaten alive. They're going to take chunks out of your face, right? Okay, let's say you don't want to show that violence. You don't want to show the horrific nature of being eaten alive. So you cut away from the action, and the horror is implied in the reaction of people who are watching it, and you feel that horror through them. But this movie, they don't cut away. They show it, but they're not allowed to show it. So rather than having zombies eating you alive, they just have a little nibble. Like, they leave tooth marks in your arm like you've been bitten by a toddler. It means nothing. It's like they're having a corn on the cob. Why make a zombie movie R13? So, this movie isn't a terrible movie, okay? It's not really terrible. It's just bland. It's just boring. It's lackluster. There's no tension. Characters are uninteresting and boring. The action is meaningless because it's incredibly fake looking, and I don't care about anybody in this movie. And were this any other movie, any other zombie movie, it would fly under the radar as being just generic and okay, it's just not a very good zombie movie. But because it's a sequel to a good movie, sequel to Train to Busan, it hurts all the more that this movie was so bad. So I'm going to give this movie a generous 6 out of 10. But of course I didn't just go to the cinema myself to see it. I went with my very good friend Jackie Chan. Jackie, what did you think of the movie?
I just hear
Alright, thank you Jackie. So there we go, that's it for Peninsula. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. We all need validation in our lives, and I get it from that thumbs up. If you want to see more of what I do, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.